Today, we're gonna review a guitar that's actually not in production at the time. This is my Martin DC-16GTE. If you happen to see these on the used market, I hope that this kind of helps you in making a buying decision if whether or not you will be purchasing one of these. This is a Cutaway Dreadnought model from Martin. It is a Venetian Cutaway. Comes with a Sitka spruce top, Sapele back and sides. It has the Rich Light fretboard and bridge. Rich Lights, I'm not sure what that is, but it's supposed to be a more eco-friendly substitute for ebony. Frankly, I really couldn't tell that it wasn't ebony at first. The neck, according to the Martin website, it just says, I believe, select hardwood. I'm not sure exactly what the neck is. It looks a lot like mahogany. The top is in a gloss finish, and the back and sides are all in a satin finish. Now this guitar is about a decade old, a little older than a decade, and the satin finish has held up quite well. Sometimes on other guitars, if you have a satin finish, over time you'll see that it will kind of wear out and turn into a polished look. That is not the case here. The guitar comes with a Tusk saddle and a Tusk nut. On professional series Martins, you'll see that they'll come with a bone saddle and bone nut. I think Tusk is, to me, just fine. It's every bit as good. This guitar in particular, this one has these closed machine tuners. I haven't seen any other ones of these out there in the market, so I can't tell you if it comes any different. But sometimes you'll see on certain series of Martin guitars, they will put different tuners on there on literally the same model guitar. These work fine. If you find a guitar with these are great. Roland Cosm preamp. I'm assuming Roland makes the preamp for this Fishman system. It is installed right here on the side so you can see it. There is a tuner built in. There is a built-in light. You do have a body knob which controls, I believe, your tone. It has effects on board. When I say effects, I mean like, I think I got a chorus to work on here once upon a time. I don't use any effects on the acoustic guitars usually. It sounds like it's just an undersaddle pickup. And in fact, whenever I was setting up the action on here, and in fact it is an undersaddle pickup. It's got the jack right here. It's got the battery pack right here. This is a really easy battery to change. Let's see what they got in there. 2 AA's. So if you're traveling and your battery dies, well, good thing you have AA's. I'd say just keep some in your guitar case. Speaking of case, this does come with a pretty nice case, I'd say. Other than that, some other facts. We have this tortoiseshell style pick guard. Clearly this is cut out. On the models in the standard series, like the D18, D28, you'll see that they have a poured pick guard. This one is a cutout pick guard. This is priced a little lower than the standard series. This is meant to be a more affordable model, but it is still made in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. If you look inside, it says made in the USA. I looked it up, it all checks out. Absolutely made in the USA, which is great. If you see these for sale, I think these make a great value over some of the current Mexican-made Martins. I think these would be a great buy if you're willing to take the risk of getting a pre-owned Martin. Buy at your own risk, obviously. Guitars are all treated differently, and this one was treated pretty darn good. There's some play wear on here. I'm not sure if this is a nitro finish. I don't imagine they put a nitro finish on anything beneath the standard series. But if this is a poly finish, this is a very light poly finish, and I quite like this finish. I could be fooled to say this is nitro. We have this nice 2-stripe binding. So it's a black binding, 2 white stripes. I'm gonna play some sound samples. You heard me play some hard strumming in the intro. I'm gonna play a little bit of finger picking for you guys. I think this makes a great finger picker. The action on this, the way I have it set up right now, is really low. I can't speak on how this came from the factory. I do know that Martin collects their guitars from the factory, but they don't set it up to be really low action. What plucking is that they use a CNC machine to cut the frets and help a technician set the guitar up. So anyway, whenever I got it, this was actually a gift, and I'm so grateful. This is one of the nicest gifts I've ever received. Whenever I received this, the action was sky high at the 12th fret. I turned the truss rod, and shaved down the nut just a little bit, but I shaved down the bridge quite a bit. Now we're getting pretty low on the bridge. I'd say that probably within another 10-15 years, this might need a neck reset. Once again, this guitar is already a little over a decade old, and I'd say it's holding up pretty well. I'm gonna do a little bit of finger picking for you guys and just noodle around. I'm sure there are other great demos out there on the internet. So as you can hear, I'm using a little bit of skin of the fingers, using some fingernails. Note that these are 12 to 54 Martin 80-20 strings. It's so funny thinking of 80-20 because I always think of ground beef, but these are the same strings I put on all of my guitars. All right, so this is a cutaway guitar, so I'm gonna play a couple of things high up on the fretboard, just so you can hear it. In my observation, this guitar has those Martin overtones that are so classic to a great Martin dreadnought. If you've played a bunch of guitars, you'll know what I'm talking about. I think it has something to do with the bridge saddle. They cut the bridge saddle really well to compensate and give it good intonation. I think that's what it is. But now we'll play up here. I'll show you how it sounds like on the higher frets. I don't play up here very often, so please forgive me. Not a very particularly scientific demo there, but I hope that gives you an idea of how it sounds. I'd say that this guitar has a really nice bass response. They don't specify if it's a forward or backward shifted X bracing, but it isn't an X bracing. I think it sounds nice. It sounds really full. It sounds like a dreadnought. You know, I live by this stigma that a guitar with a cutaway loses some of its tonality because you're getting less top, but I just don't hear what I'm losing here. You're not losing anything. I'd say that if you're in the market for a used Martin, these are excellent guitars. If you get one, and if it doesn't play right, have a luthier go over it, set it up properly. I think these are killer. For the money, these are running somewhere in the $1,200 plus range. You find them for under $2,000 all the time on the internet. And for that kind of money, I'd say this is a great guitar for someone who wants to be a professional musician and wants a guitar to get started, wants something quality they can actually record with and perform with, you know, this guitar is a little over a decade old. It's been beat. It's got some hits on here, and there's no cracking. You know, there's hardly any shifting of the bridge here. I'd say that this is held up really well. Or, you know, if money isn't that big of an issue, and you're not saving up to buy your first professional guitar, let's say you already have a bunch of nice Martin guitars. This could be the one that goes with you whenever you're traveling and you just want something to play on, or say if you're sitting by a campfire with your friends and you want something where you're not gonna cry if it gets banged around. Not like I would if this was like my D18. My D18, I get a little upset every time I ding it. Granted, I'm sure that will wear off someday and I'll embrace it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe. If you didn't like it, please tell us why. Use the comments as an open forum to converse about guitars. Like and subscribe. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing. If you didn't like it, go ahead and let us know. Other than that, y'all have a great day, and thanks for tuning in.